Some experts rank our region as the #1 economy in the U.S. So why is it also the place where nearly 12,000 homeless people in King County alone now live?
We've never had growth at this scale.
Interim Seattle City Council member Kirsten Harris-Talley says, as Seattle's big employers hire more high-wage workers and the population increases, rents start rising. Studies show when rents go up just $100 a month, the number of people forced into homelessness goes up too, by 15%.
The rate in which houselessness is happening with displacement is outpacing the inventory of housing. That's the gap that we have right now.
That's why Harris-Talley is co-sponsoring, with council members Mike O'Brien and Shama Sawant, a new homeless funding plan, taxing businesses that gross more than $5 million a year. The 5-cent per hour tax would yield about $100 per employee per year, and would put $24 million into housing, outreach, and mass entry shelter, the acronym HOMES.
What's been a really prosperous moment in our city has not been equally prosperous for all of us, and we're just trying to rebalance that for everyone.
Seattle had a so-called employee head tax in 2006, but it was repealed 3 years later in the middle of the Great Recession. Council members have proposed bringing it back since then, but this 2017 version is really making waves at the Seattle waterfront.
We think it's goofy.
Bob Donegan of the Seattle Historic Waterfront Association says the city spent a record $50 million on the homeless last year and has proposed spending $63 million for this year. Yet the homeless population is still rising.
You never grow your model until you have it refined. And if we grow a model that's not being effective and efficient right now, we're wasting money.
Donegan points to the city-funded report by former federal homeless czar Barb Poppy, which recommends a new focus on rapid rehousing, not new taxes.
One of her conclusions was there's plenty of money to fund the problem in Seattle. What has to happen is it has to be spent more effectively.
Honestly, you've got to be kidding me.
Allison Eisinger, executive director of the Seattle-King County Coalition on Homelessness, says new tax revenue is critical to help the city respond quickly to an out-of-control problem.
What's needed is a surge, a dramatic investment so that we are not literally leaving people in the streets.
She points out other large U.S. cities invest far more than Seattle does in homeless solutions, and says that as the city grows and scales up investments in schools or transportation, investing in the homeless has to follow.
Let's take a look at whether or not those businesses are paying their fair share for the infrastructure that we need to be a livable city for all of us.
Downtown Seattle Association President and CEO John Scholes says local companies and residents already contribute more than $1 billion tax dollars to the city's general fund every year.
I think businesses and residents in this city share a common frustration that we're not seeing the progress we need on homelessness.
Scholes is also concerned that business leaders weren't included in the council's planning process for an employee hours tax.
It feels like it was developed in the dark and now is being foisted upon businesses within the city.
Scholes says the tax would impact 250,000 jobs from 2,200 employers citywide, and eventually would hit the average consumer.
I think this measure is going to make it more expensive to be in this city, and it's not going to do much to help us solve a really important issue around homelessness.
That important issue now faces an important funding debate, with time ticking down in the city budget process to decide the fate of the employee hours tax.